Hi, I have a new guitar to show you. This is a Sidewinder. This is my biggest guitar. All right, cool. So, Sidewinder, 16-inch guitar like a dreadnought, but of course, my interpretation of that. This is a special guitar because it's built with the tree. And the tree is mahogany, Honduras mahogany. That this particular tree has sort of taken the world by storm. And this wood has become a major commodity in the guitar world. Which means that it's terrifying when you're building the sides. When you're bending these sides, you're just like, oh, please. Because if you crack and destroy the sides, then you basically, your life is over. It's forfeit. They come and get you. But I lucked out and I didn't crack these sides. This guitar went together like a dream. Even though it was terrifying. And it's always really set. I love all the stages of building, really, except maybe, buffing is frustrating, but it's okay. But doing the layout is fun and very exciting, and you're filled with all this anticipation, and then you start building it and you're into the heart of the matter, and then you get your guitar all finished up and it's done, and there's a major sense of like relief. Like, okay, nothing went wrong. And especially when you're working with materials that cost more than your car, it's a sigh of relief for sure. The tree is really famous now, and it's become, as I mentioned, a commodity. And I think, one of the things that this is going to give this guitar is the status as a collectible. It gives it collectability, and it gives it like probably really excellent resale and investment potential. The tree it was one particular tree, and I'm not going to get into the whole story of it, but it's a very limited material. And not only that, but I think that the best parts of it are largely spoken for at this point. And this is this has the figure that's called like tortoise or tortoise quilt, and it's a very unique looking grain pattern. You can tell instantly that it's from this tree and no other. The tree was actually, I have read that it is it was a genetic sport, and it produced this very unique pattern, and it's this incredible rich color. It's really, really beautiful. It's some of the most beautiful wood I've ever worked with. I've gotten to build 2 guitars, this being the second, and I have one more to build that's in line in a couple of years from now. Sound-wise, I think it's like really good mahogany. It's this has a very warm sound. It's very direct. The whereas a rosewood will have a ton of overtone content and long, sparkly sort of decay. This has a much more direct, woody sort of sound. It has plenty of sustain, but it doesn't have a lot of that sort of ambient shimmer. And that's entirely a subjective thing, whether you like that or not. I mean, generally speaking, I would say I'm a rosewood guy. But when you have a guitar that the notes are so succinct and the note separation is great because each note isn't surrounded by this aura of overtones, you get a very direct and powerful feeling instrument. This feels really powerful, like it just sort of fires the notes out. So I think this is a really good example. I love this guitar. I think it's a really good example of what I try to achieve as a builder, which is steel strings that have a really rich top end and mid range, a component that may be borrowed from a classical guitar sound, yet they have the sustain, the punch and growl of a steel string guitar. Especially, each one of the guitar sizes, so that as are sort of set out by Martin, which is sort of the paradigm of American guitars. So you have your 13-inch guitars, you have your 14-inch guitars, like a triple O or a double O. You have like 15-inch guitars, which are sort of like a triple O or an OM. And then you have 16-inch guitars, which would be a dreadnought. The other guitar companies have different names, whatever. I sort of think of them in Martin terms. And this is that. This is a 16-inch guitar. And dreads are, in my opinion, they can be absolutely fantastic, but they tend towards, each one of these body sizes has a sort of native quality that it tends towards. And the 16-inch guitar, Dreadnought, tends towards guitars that have an outsized bass and a rather anemic top end. That's my opinion. The top end can sound kind of plinky. So I wanted, in this design, to make a guitar that even when it's a big body like this, it's going to have a rich top end and the bass isn't going to overwhelm the whole thing, because I think that I value balance as much as any quality. You want to be able to record with this guitar, and you don't have to have fuss with playing the bottom and the top of the guitar, the treble and the bass registers with different amounts of attack, because you want it to be balanced. I mean, it's just then you can express yourself without worrying about having some sort of handicap imposed by the instrument. And I think this does it really well. It has almost this jazzy top end, It sings. I think a lot of times a Dreadnought will have a slappy sound up the top, because you're trying to elicit more tone from the top end, so you're playing it harder. And I don't think you have to do that here. You could play, even though this is, a modern acoustic guitar with, a lot of divergence from tradition, I think you could still play bluegrass on it pretty well. If you knew how to play bluegrass, that you could do that. So, anyway, this guitar was a real pleasure to build, and I'm glad that I've been able to have some tree come across my bench, and that I'll be leaving this beautiful instrument in my wake. You know, that's the way I think about all these things. They're like these guitars go out into the world, and I'm certainly not going to provide me with immortality, but I like to think that when I do shuffle off, I'll have this legacy of instruments floating out there in the world, and I hope that they have long lives. So thank you for watching this. Next up, I've got an arum made with Brazilian rosewood and Carpathian spruce that I'm expecting big things from. That one isn't in finish yet, so it'll be a little while. But thank you, and Chris, thank you for the order very much. It was a pleasure to build it. All right, take care.